Then, who was the spoiled child? The spoiled child was an enemy of our country. He was a fascist. He was the pet dog of Tojo. Actually, the child was a daydreamer having a great dream to have an ideal country. That spoiled child was the most desperate son of Bengal, who, being highly motivated by the idealism of another desperate son of Bengal, Swami Vivekananda, rejected the luxurious job of civil service to join Indian National Congress and simply stormed it. That spoiled child was a hero, a forgotten hero. And his name is Subhash Chandra Bose. Now here is the true story of the controversial relationship between those two great leaders, which is extracted from the shockingly real history of India, far beyond those bulky textbooks of history. 16th July. Liberation movement, declared and controlled by Gandhiji, can be considered as one of the greatest freedom movements of India. Gandhiji's idealisms, Swadeshi and boycott, spread across every corner of the country, and such a furious storm set in that the British had never even dreamt of. Gandhiji promised to gain the much-awaited freedom within 1 year, and it was at the threshold of its success. But there came a bolt from the blue. 5th February 1922. The damaged inner skeleton of Congress was unveiled in front of the eyes of everyone. Gandhiji suspended the historical non-cooperation movement for a small incident of violence at Chauri Chaura in Uttar Pradesh. The whole country was shocked to hear the announcement of their Bapu. Deshbandhu Chittaranjan Das was overwhelmed with sorrow and resentment. Motilal Nehru also protested, and Lala Lajpat Rai wrote a 70-page letter to Gandhiji. But nothing could compel Bapu to reject his determined as well as futile decision. Subhash Chandra became speechless and stated the decision as a national disaster.
British Sarkar এই হঠাৎ আন্দোলন প্রত্যাহারের সিদ্ধান্তে তাদের খুব সুবিধা হয়েছিল। তারা সঙ্গে সঙ্গে গান্ধীজি সহ সমস্ত নেতাদের কারারুদ্ধ করে আন্দোলনের গতিটাকে নষ্ট করে দিল। আন্দোলনটা ব্যর্থ হল। গান্ধীজি আন্দোলন শুরু করতেন ভালো, উনি গণচেতনাটা জাগাতেন, কিন্তু সেই গণচেতনাটা কিভাবে স্বাধীনতার লক্ষ্যে পরিচালিত করা যায় সেইটা পারতেন না, ফিনিশিংটা দিতে পারতেন না। ওইখানে গান্ধীজির ব্যর্থতা।
At the same time, he realized the urgent need of some vital reconstruction of the Congress, for which he had to wait 6 years till the Calcutta Congress in 1928. 19th December 1928, Calcutta. Astonishing the congressmen as well as the whole country, the 2,000 trained volunteer corps under the supervision of GOC Subhash Chandra Bose received the Congress President Pandit Motilal Nehru in military manner at the Pak Sakas ground. India has never before seen such a magnificent spectacle. Subhash was getting flooded with the praises for his reformation of Congress volunteers. Every Indian newspaper, even some European associations, were also charmed at his revolutionary effort. But there was one man who was not happy at all. It was Gandhiji himself who openly remarked it as nothing but a circus at Park Circus. No sooner than Gandhiji's announcement, his fellow disciples and their associates, who once praised Subhash, now began to criticize him as much as they could. Circus, circus, Park Circus, circus, Philip Circus, and so on. Subhash got speechless again. But it was the lull before a storm. 8th April 1929. The storm set in with the explosion inside the assembly in Delhi by Bhagat Singh and his companion Botukeshwar Dutt. 6th June 1929. As the historical trial of Bhagat Singh and his companions started, a huge wave of leftist ideology spread throughout the country. The popularity of Congress was minimizing gradually. In this situation, Subhash came forward to give all his support to Bhagat Singh and other convicted freedom fighters languishing inside the jail. He also took the duties of cremation of Jatin Das, one of the co-revolutionaries of Bhagat Singh, who sacrificed his life on that 63rd day of his hunger strike. Gandhiji, this time also, strictly opposed the activities of Subhash by criticizing the idealisms of Bhagat Singh and by declaring the loss of Jatin Das as a diabolical suicide. 6th April 1930. Gandhiji began the civil disobedience movement with his historic Dandi March. Though it was started against the humiliating laws of British government, its original intention was to regain the dominance of Congress as well as Bapu in Indian politics. But in spite of Bapu's declaration of total freedom, it took nearly 1 year to become another futile effort. As Gandhiji, being helpless in front of the ruthless rulers, agreed to suspend the movement by signing the controversial Gandhi-Irwin Pact. Having been released from the prison, Subhash immediately met Mahatma in Bombay, and on the way to Delhi, they discussed the prevailing situation in India, and Subhash had to unwillingly agree with Bapu. But no sooner had they reached Delhi than they received a bombshell in the shape of the news that the government had decided to execute Bhagat Singh, Rajguru and Sukhdev. Now it was nothing but the decision of Gandhiji which could save the lives of these 3 young rebels by making it an indispensable condition of the pact. But the nationwide appeal to Gandhiji did nothing to change his decision for some terrorists. And he silently signed the worthless pact. 23rd March 1931. As the news of the secret execution of Bhagat Singh and his companions Sukhdev and Rajguru spread across the country, intense grief and anguish gripped the entire nation. Subhash, along with other young leaders, started a nationwide campaign against the ruthless killing of their comrades. Gandhiji then opposed Subhash and his sympathies by declaring that the Bhagat Singh worship had done and was doing incalculable harm to the country. The result was Gundaism and degradation wherever this mad worship was going on. But Gandhiji's misjudgment towards feelings of the youth of the nation returned to him as a great shock, as he received a great fury of mob when he had just arrived at Karachi to inaugurate the Indian Congress there. The outburst of the Youth Brigade greatly embarrassed him, as it was beyond his expectation. At that moment, he could remember only one name that can stop the nationwide fury against Congress. He immediately called Subhash and tried to convince him about the distressed condition of Congress. Subhash assured Gandhiji to regain the reputation of Indian National Congress by not criticizing it openly at any party meetings. But after a few months, when Gandhiji was organizing meetings in the memory of Bhagat Singh, just to gain the profit of that situation, but still hating the other revolutionaries as terrorists, Subhash could not conceal his anger, and he openly criticized that opportunism. A cold war started between them, and as its first consequence, Subhash was removed from the Congress Working Committee. Though Gandhiji tried to choke his voice by removing him from the Working Committee, he could not alter the popularity of Subhash anymore. In Bengal, he became a statesman of the youth by his movements against the British government, as well as his social services and health campaigns in Calcutta when plague broke out as an epidemic there. Besides, he had to spend 5 years in prison, and then, for his treatment, he journeyed to Europe. There he appeared as an Indian representative of politics, and after sharing his views with European politicians, he became a renowned Indian abroad. Now Gandhiji gradually realized the need of popularity of Subhash inside Indian National Congress. He had to put down the voice of the spokesman of young India by any means. Bapu played a new trick to tame Subhash Chandra Bose. 18th January 1938. Astonishing the whole country, Gandhiji announced the name of Subhash as the President of Indian National Congress for the annual session at Haripura. Gandhiji and other senior members of Congress smiled in relief, thinking that they had at last tamed a born rebel like Subhash. But alas, when Subhash started his historic speech, that ironic smile from those faces vanished abruptly. There was announcement of final war against the British rulers. There were comments on modernization of industries, foreign policies, education systems, which were extremely embarrassing for Mahatma and his blind disciples. Gandhiji realized a fact, that Subhash can never be tamed with the glamour of leadership, attraction of power, unlike his colleague Jawaharlal. He prepared himself to take some tough decisions against Subhash. 1939 Tripuri Congress. Underestimating the wishes of every Indian youth in Congress, as well as other political parties, Pattavi Sitaramaiah, a new nominee, was set up against Subhash with the blessings of Mahatma Gandhi. In spite of severe opposition from his senior leaders, Subhash defeated Sitaramaiah by 229 votes. But there was hardly any space of democracy rather than dictatorship in the one-man controlled Indian National Congress. Gandhiji openly announced that Sitaramaiah's defeat is my defeat. Not only that, the senior members of Indian National Congress started a mass resignation campaign. In spite of having a high fever of 106 degrees, Subhash rushed to Tripuri to take the situation under control. But it was too late. Senior members under Govindavallabh Pant declared that if the working committee members are not selected by Gandhiji, then it will be discarded. At the same time, Rabindranath Tagore sent a letter to Bapu with a request to stop that disgraceful and unproductive politics against Subhash. But he failed to melt Bapu's heart. As a result, after a long mental and political humiliation from the so-called great leaders of India, Subhash Chandra Bose resigned the post of the President of Indian National Congress.
গান্ধীজি সুভাষচন্দ্রকে বহিষ্কার করে কংগ্রেসের ভেতর যে সমস্ত বামপন্থী মানসিকতা ছিল সেগুলোকে উৎখাত করলেন এবং সর্বভারতীয় রাজনীতিতে নিজের যে আধিপত্য সেই আধিপত্যটাকে সুপ্রতিষ্ঠিত করেছিলেন। বলা হয় এই ত্রিপুরী অধিবেশন থেকে গান্ধী সুভাষ বিরোধের সূচনা, যে বিরোধটা পরবর্তী স্বাধীনতা আন্দোলনকে বিভিন্নভাবে প্রভাবিত করেছিল।
Subhash, being a born rebel, had the willpower 1,000 times more than the opposition of Mahatma. 3rd May 1939. Subhash established the Forward Bloc and received a nationwide support from all leftist parties of India. Forward Bloc soon set up a new storm in Indian politics and gave a call to the common people to prepare for a final war against the British rulers. Now Gandhiji and his disciples were in a total fix and they were determined to stop Subhash. Gandhiji then openly addressed Subhash as a spoilt child and banned Forward Bloc from taking part in any political committee organized by Indian National Congress for 3 years. During the period of Second World War, England was being distressed day by day due to the random attacks of the Axis power, that is Hitler's Germany and Mussolini's Italy. Subhash, having foresightful knowledge in politics, wanted to pounce on the British with all the power India could muster to achieve the independence. In no time, just the opposite was heard from Mahatma. On 6th September 1939, he met Lord Linlithgow and assured him by saying, "India should cooperate with the British at this period of crisis. We don't want independence at the cost of destruction of the British civilization. It is not the way of non-violence." Actually, Gandhiji loved his idealisms more than his motherland, whereas Subhash loved his motherland above all ideology. And thus, he realized that making his dreams a success is impossible with those so-called mass leaders. So, he had to take the toughest decision of his life. 17th January 1941. At the stroke of midnight hour, when India was asleep, befooling the British government, Subhash escaped internment in disguise from Calcutta towards Kabul. Subhash left his motherland to collect foreign help from Soviet Union so that he could construct an army to fight for the freedom of India. But not having any assurance from Soviet Union, he moved to Germany to set up an army with the captured Indian soldiers. And his adventures from Kabul to Berlin and then from Berlin to Japan in a submarine can be considered forever as one of the greatest adventures of a freedom fighter to save his motherland. The British rulers shivered at this unexpected incident. Gandhiji was also speechless seeing the dedication of this youth. But as he was bound to his so-called ideals, when the clarion call of Subhash was heard from Berlin and then from Singapore radio, he did not hesitate to comment that Subhash was a fascist, an enemy of our country. His followers also took a duty to spread negative awareness against this dangerous fascist Subhash. 21st October 1943. Subhash declared the Azad Hind government in Singapore, and he was declared as Netaji, the chief of Indian National Army, built by Rash Bihari Bose. Now his dream became a success as INA, and he announced a war against Britain and America. Subhash Chandra named his brigades by the name of Gandhiji and Nehru. This shows how much respect he had for them. Not only that, during the Battle of Manipur and Imphal, many Europeans even could manage to escape by taking the name of Gandhi from the hands of Japanese soldiers. The flag of INA, when flew high at Imphal and Andaman Nicobar, Subhash gave the final call to INA, but he did not know what was waiting for them from Gandhi and his fellow disciples in Delhi. Netaji addressed Mahatma Gandhi as the father of the nation and asked for his support for the struggles of INA. But it was Gandhiji who at once realized that cooperation with Subhash meant to get freedom within the next 5 to 6 months. But if it be, then Subhash is going to be the next Prime Minister of Free India, which was unthinkable and beyond acceptance to him and his followers. So Gandhi denied Subhash and declared INA as the Japanese invader.
ভারত থেকে কোনো রকম সাহায্য আজাদ হিন্দ সরকার বা ফৌজ পায়নি। ভারতীয়দের চোখে সুভাষচন্দ্র তখন বিদেশি শক্তির সাহায্য নিয়ে ভারত আক্রমণ করছে, ভারতের শত্রু কুইসলিং আখ্যা দেওয়া হয়েছিল। এবং আজকের যে কমিউনিস্ট পার্টি তৎকালীন সে সুভাষচন্দ্রকে তোজোর পা চাটা কুকুর বলতেও দ্বিধাবোধ করেন। কিন্তু সুভাষের লক্ষ্য ছিল ভারত আক্রমণ নয়, ব্রিটিশ ভারত আক্রমণ, ব্রিটিশদেরকে ভারত থেকে উচ্ছেদ করে ভারতের স্বাধীনতা অর্জন। তিনি জাপানের শক্তির সাহায্য নিয়েও কোনো ভুল করেননি, কেন পৃথিবীর ইতিহাসে দেখা গেছে বিভিন্ন দেশ স্বাধীনতা যুদ্ধে বৈদেশিক শক্তির সাহায্য নিয়ে স্বাধীনতা অর্জন করেছে। তার মানে এই নয় যে দেশটাকে সেই দেশের কাছে বিলিয়ে দেওয়া। সুভাষ কিন্তু সেটা করেন।
Without getting any response from his motherland, Subhash continued the war. INA had to give in to the British in 1945, but Subhash did not surrender. 5th November 1945. Every Indian eye was on the Red Fort in Delhi, where the controversial trial of the arrested INA officers had begun. Gandhi used this platform, made by the army of his spoiled child, to regain his and his party's reputation. He sent Jawaharlal Nehru as the lawyer in favor of the army officers, and after 2 months of long drama of patriotism and bloodshed across the country, on 4th January 1946, Colonel Shehnawaz Hussain, Dhilan and Saigal were set free. With the surrender of Japan to America, the Second World War ended, and after killing Gandhiji assured the rulers by agreeing to hand over Subhash to the British. Nehru went one step ahead. He announced that if Subhash entered India, he would be the first person to resist him with a sword. But that was not sufficient for them. And so, with the help of an inconclusive Shehnawaz Commission report, Nehru tried his best to make the rumors of Taihoku air crash appear as a fact. But Subhash Chandra is still alive. Subhash had a dream from his childhood. The dream of a free and advanced India, where the mind is without fear, where the head is held high. And he was defeated. Not by the British rulers only, but by those great leaders whose pictures can be seen hanging arrogantly in any government institution. Not only Subhash's, but Gandhiji's dreams soon ended in smoke. In 1946, the Hindu-Muslim riot due to Jinnah's fight for Pakistan, and in 1947, the partition of India and Pakistan gave him the ultimate pain, an extreme shock, before he was killed in 1948. India got independence on the debris of two great dreams, resulting in the Kashmir controversy, the shameless and endless war between India and Pakistan. 1993 Hindu-Muslim riot in Bombay, 2002 riot in Gujarat, and so many uncountable spectacles that are still causing irrecoverable wounds to our motherland. Subhash and Gandhiji were like the two tracks of a railway line carrying the vehicle of Indian freedom. Their destination was same, though their paths differed. There is no doubt that it was Gandhiji's illogical decisions and nepotism which deflected the vision of free India. But his idea of non-violence was not just a fake ideology. In those days of freedom crisis of India, we had the need of Subhash's theory of violent revolution. But now, when India needs to maintain her independence, unity and prestige, we need the non-violent ways of Gandhiji. It may stop the political and religious bloodshed in India. But it was their great and controversial relation, which if had been good, and Mahatma could respect the views of Subhash, our country would be far more developed than it had ever been. Now, it is really our duty to carry their dreams to build a dream India. Jai Hind.